The Honourable Louise Upston.
Mr Speaker, I do agree with the member that spoke prior to me about really recognising the vital role that rural women do provide across the country. As a rural MP, I know firsthand how important they are, and also the challenges that they have faced over the last little while. But Mr Speaker, I was disturbed earlier in the House today to have members opposite actually scoffing at the highest level of women's participation in the workforce ever. And I found that a bit disturbing, Mr Speaker, because I would have thought that that side of the House would have been celebrating the achievements of women in employment as well as in leadership that I spoke about earlier. Mr Speaker, one of the challenges, of course, when you have such a strong growing economy is looking at how we provide even greater and deeper opportunities for our young people. And as the Associate Minister of Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment, I'm particularly proud of the release of our the next chapter of the Building Skilled and Safe Workplaces chapter of our Business Growth Agenda. Mr Speaker, this is one of 6 chapters that is really fundamental to how we are going about growing the economy. It contains the 55 initiatives that are currently underway, as well as announcing 12 new ones. And that's about ensuring that we are continuing to grow our economy, continuing to grow the skills that actually young and old New Zealanders have. Part of that announcement, Mr Speaker, was the 2 new skills hubs announced in Auckland. So the Auckland CBD Jobs and Skills Hub, which is of course in the Wynyard Quarter, will revolve around the extensive commercial development that is going on in that area. One of the keys, Mr Speaker, though, and one of the things you'll hear more and more about, is the partnership approach. So these hubs are a partnership between central government and local government, businesses, tertiary providers, ATEED and ITOs. We've seen the huge success of what has occurred in Canterbury with this very joined-up approach, and I'm particularly proud of the significant increases of the number of women in construction in Canterbury. So this partnership is a vital approach, and one that we are seeing as leading to even greater levels of success because of leveraging off one another. But Mr Speaker, of course, today we have announced the new target to have 50,000 people training in apprenticeships by 2020. And no matter what part of New Zealand you are in, we will see that there are more and more employers who are seeking out young New Zealanders who are willing to train in their areas, whether it's the whole range of fields in construction. Of course, the primary industries are still crying out for more people to train in their areas. And another of the initiatives that has been underway is the Sector Workforce Engagement Program. So yes, there's one in tourism as well as horticulture, the dairy industry. One that's particularly important in my electorate is the one for the road freight operators and of course construction. When we have a significant building boom like we do now, we need to make sure that we are training more young New Zealanders in the area of need. But there's been a few conversations over the last few days, Mr Speaker, about the young people who are not in education, employment or training. And you know, from what I've heard, Labor's clearly out of touch with this particular group. Whereas our government has put in a range of different initiatives. We are continuing to innovate, whether it's the Māori and Pacificas trade training, the trade academies, the youth guarantee, these skills hubs that we've announced. We're also trialling an initiative called the Dual Pathways, which supports tertiary education providers and secondary schools to, again, as I said, work in partnership with employers and industries. It means that the students can be enrolled part-time at secondary school and part-time in tertiary education. So we're working hard, Mr Speaker, on that very group of young New Zealanders that we want to provide the greatest of opportunities, whether they are male or females, and I'm particularly proud, as I said before, that we are providing more opportunities to young New Zealand women. So this is a government that's working hard to provide opportunities for all New Zealanders to make sure that they are valued for the work they do, that they upskill in the areas where there's high demand, high wages and greater opportunities in the future. So we build a New Zealand that we'll all be proud of. Thank you, Mr Speaker.